For the demo unit you'll be building out in this course, we will be using course sites. The URL is coursesites.com. Pretty basic. What this is a free resource offered by Blackboard. So once you get in, it will look very familiar, except you are actually going to be the designer/instructor. Okay? So the first thing you will need to do is sign up. And I'm asking you to please sign up as the instructor. Okay? You can use the same information you use for Brandman. You can use different information. I would ask that you would please use your Brandman email, because that's the only way I am supposed to be able, as your professor, to contact you, to work with you. Anything to do with Brandman, we should be using Brandman emails. Guys, this is FERPA, Federal Education Records Protection Act, okay? I know a lot of people like using their own emails, but FERPA, FERPA, FERPA. So please sign up as an instructor. Once you do sign up as an instructor, it'll take probably 10 minutes for them to send you back an email, and you have to click to come back in and verify, blah, blah, blah. Lovely. Then you come back in and you go right to the login. Now, I do want you to recognize there's Learn More, there's Get Started, Hear from Other Users, What's New. Don't worry about the MOOC thing, and don't worry about the blog thing right now, although it can be a pretty darn good resource. Why? Why are we using course sites? For multiple reasons. It's a really good thing for all of us as 21st century instructors to have a sense of how to work inside an LMS, a learning management system. Blackboard is an LMS, Angel is an LMS, eCollege is an LMS. When you or your school gets a huge package from Scholastic or from Pearson, they may have their own individual LMS, but in general, they all work in a parallel fashion. So it's kind of like learning to drive a car. Yes, every car is different, but in general, once you learn to drive, sure, it'll take you a couple minutes, but you can pretty much drive everything. It's the same thing with an LMS. Once you have a basic understanding of how to manipulate it and make it work for you as a teacher who will sometimes have to design your own curriculum, you'll be able to then work in any environment. So there you are. There is authentic relevancy. This is not about turning you into an expert in course sites per se, but it is about ensuring you as a 21st century teacher will be able to work with whatever LMS you're handed. Sign up, please, as an instructor, not as a student. Sign up as an instructor. Then you'll come back and log in. When you log in, this should look fairly familiar. Again, this is created by Blackboard. My classes. Well, you're going to start out with no classes. You have to create one. This one is kind of interesting. All of us are automatically enrolled as getting started with course sites. So again, I would like you to take the time, but I'm not going to make it official for the moment. Here's what I am going to make official. I need you to create a course, create a new course. Please, if you want to get a trial course to play with it and then come back and create your course, that's okay. But we're going to do this together. I'm never going to leave you out on a limb alone. Create a new course. Give your course a name. You will need to give it some unique course ID. Don't worry about that. Just make something up and then a brief explanation what the course is. Now, enrollment options. Please, 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 please leave it as instructor controlled. Please do not make it self-enroll. Okay, we don't want to be getting into that nightmare. Leave it as it is. I will be asking you to enroll me as in your instructor, whether it's actually me, the person designing it, or it's your current instructor teaching this class, you will be asked to enroll your instructor as a fellow instructor. And ta-da! We have created the course. Step number 2 is invite students. Why don't we skip step 2 for the moment? Okay, let's get the course kind of constructed, and then you can invite your instructor. So let's go right to customize the course. Now, here again, another spot that I would just say, okay, and let it go. Apply changes, whatever. I just get rid of this, blah, blah, blah. This very overly complicated. Some people like some of the stuff, the needs attention, the what's new, the my tasks, the alerts. For our purposes, to ensure that this all does not become overwhelming, because look, it's the home page for our course. This is it, student example. There's the name of the course. Here are the menu buttons. All right? They don't look like buttons very much, do they? But look what you've got down here. Control panel and all kinds of stuff you can do in the control panel. The first thing I'm strongly recommending you do is go into customization. Why? Let's look at teaching style. Now, I wouldn't mess with any of this select course structure stuff. I think it just gets overly complicated. Leave it as is. However, let's scroll down. Entry point. Do you want the entry point to be what it's set as, the home page? Well, for right now, I'd leave it. I'll show you something I like to do, but we'll get to that later. But why not select a course theme? Here we've got different colors you can use. All right. Let us please remember, this is a shell. So pick something that is not going to be overly distracting, but yeah, why not make it something that's a little more enjoyable and or relevant? What is your unit? Is it nursing, physics, technology, whatever works for you, for the unit, and for your learners. All right, so I'm going to do blast off. And here, below the style, below the colors, this is the most important part for this section, guys, please. Menu style, that's the bar on the side. Please make it buttons. How much easier is it text versus buttons? Let's please go to buttons and look. Yes, you can select your color. How about that violet? Yeah, I kind of like that. And I can always come back. Icon only, text only, icon and text. Keep it icon and text. All right. Apply this view to all existing content. Why not? Submit. Much better. All right. So let's go through. What did we do? We came into our class. We landed on the home page. We'll sort out this stuff later. The first thing we did was to try and make sure this was clearer. So we came down to our course management. We went into customization. We went down to teaching style. Don't mess with the top. Don't mess with the top unless you really know what you're doing. We'll deal with entry point later. Pick your course theme. I'll even change it right now just to show you again. Let's go with composition. That's kind of fun. And the most important part is menu style. Please select buttons. Buttons are so much easier to see. And if we're going to go with that, then let's do, how about that silver? Yeah, that looks good. Apply this to all existing content, icon and text. Booyah, there's our course. All right, there it is. So that's number one. Make sure you get your buttons. Notice that here are the buttons they've set for you. You can change their names. You can add new content areas. Don't mess with module page. Content areas we will be adding. Don't mess with module page. That's overly complicated. Blank page, well, would you really need a blank page off of here? To keep things organized, you're better to have the specific content areas here. You can change the order just by moving things around. Oop, here we go. Boop. Now, the way we tend to do design at Brandman is we separate out by weeks. You will be designing a unit for 5 to 10 days. So you could do 1 week, 2 week. You could have a content area for each week. The more you keep it organized, the easier it is. Don't get crazy. You don't want 5,000 buttons over here. But what if we built out a content area? Slide down carefully. Let's say week 1. All right. Available to users. Yes. Submit. And then I'll add another content area. Week 2. Available to content users. Submit. Okay. Now, do I want students landing on the home page? This is a terrible interface to start with. It's overwhelming. Now, I can go through and delete a bunch of stuff, honestly. But for my students, I like when you guys can come into a course and land on the announcements page. Easy breezy. But you notice there's no announcements here. So I need to add that in. Back to the little cross up in the corner. I'm going to add announcements is actually a tool, a specific tool. I'm adding a tool link, not achievements. There it is. These are all the different tools. I could even do a direct one to email to make it easier. Announcements, and I have to type in the name. There we go. Yes, make it available. Submit. There's my announcements. Wait a minute, but when I enter the course, I can always get back to the course simply by clicking on that. I still land on the home page. Wait a minute. Remember down in customization? Teaching style. Where do I want my students to land? Select course entry point. Now, announcements. Ding, 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 ding. Submit. Beautiful. And actually, this home page, I don't like it. Look just to the right of it. Homepage menu items. Delete. I can't stand that thing. Yeah, just delete it. Make it go away. It's fine. Make it go away. Great. My students will now land on the announcements page. So what all have I done? I came to Course Sites. I registered. I logged in. I created my course. I've come into my shell. I went into customization to make sure I had buttons. I've added an announcements tool link. And then I came back to customization teaching style and made announcements my entry point. So whenever someone enters my class now, student example, land on the announcements page. Groups, I tend not to use that tool either, but you have carte blanche. You're going to be designing. Information, it's a very solid thing to have a start here button. And that's where you want to put all your general information. So let's keep information, but let's rename it, shall we? How do we do that? We click on the right and we rename the link. Start here class info. Yep, that's it. Boom. So now I've got a button where I will be building content, I can add assessments, I can go through the tools, partner content. Okay, all of that we're going to get to. This right now is just a little structure. Now you may be asking yourself, wait a minute, why am I able to do all this stuff? What's the difference between me as an instructor and a student? And how can I be sure what the students see? Up here in the corner, guys, this is crucial. Edit mode is on. That means you're in teacher designer mode. When edit mode is on, that's when I can get into the grade center and I can add stuff and add content, blah, blah, blah. If I turn edit mode off, simply by clicking on it, I see things as the student sees them. Notice a bunch of my buttons just disappeared. Why did that happen? Because there's nothing in them at the moment. When I turn edit mode back on, ding, it shows me everything that's over here, but when there's a dot next to it, that means they're empty. Now, let's see. I don't want the discussion boards to be that high up. And help, I'll move down lower. Discussions we'll get to. We'll be building that out. Those are threaded discussion forums. These are going to be content areas. A lot of times when I'm first building, what I'll do is if I haven't put anything in yet, just so there's something there so it'll show up, build content. The things you will be using the most here are item, web link, and then one of the mashups, probably the YouTube. What is an item? An item is basically like a flat, static piece of paper. A web page, if you will. Give it a name. Welcome to week 1. And then this is where I would add my content. Again, this looks so much like Blackboard, doesn't it? Well, because it is Blackboard. All right, this is just a placeholder, so I'm just going to, for the moment, submit. The only reason I did that, again, this is just setting up structure, is so that when I switch out of edit mode, I'll be able to make sure week 1 is where I want it. Let's do the same thing for week 2. I click to go in to the content area I created. Build content, create an item. Welcome to week 2. Again, blah, blah, blah. Just, I'll fix it later. No big deal. This is just a holding place. All right, so I'm not going to need this general content folder. It's just in my way. I've got start here, class info. Why would I have this? I should put the content inside the week, so it's logical. So I'm going to delete that. Literally delete it. There's nothing inside it. It's just taking up space. Yeah. 2 more things we're going to do this week. This is week 1. Let's create just a generic announcement. We'll refine it later. Welcome to student example course. All right. I could add a photo. We do not, guys, next to photo, people get confused about this. Do not insert or actually upload, embed your media that way. No, no, no. Use mashups. Why? Well, there's several reasons, and hopefully you'll be telling me next week. But please, if you make a video, post it on YouTube. If you try and load it into Blackboard, that's a bandwidth issue. Far better, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'll just pick a random YouTube video. But what I do when I build my videos to put into the class is I upload them to YouTube. Then you need to usually wait like an hour for it to kind of get into the database. Let's see. Search by name. I'll just grab a random music video. I am a horrible, horrible person. All right, so I'm adding in a video. View Just leave it with thumbnail. Now, this one though, this one's important. Show the URL. Yes. Multiple reasons why, none the least of which is if for whatever reason clicking on the thumbnail doesn't work, as long as the URL is there, the student can always copy and paste it, open in a new window. Got it? What did I do to add a video? Mashup, YouTube, put in the name, not the URL. All right. Go search, and it'll give me all these different options. All right. I am a horrible, horrible person. All right. Let's leave it. If you want to mess with this, you can, but I'm begging you not to. Leave it thumbnail, click on show URL, submit. You don't have to do this right now. I'm just showing you. Notice it embeds it. And then I recommend signing your announcements. Just, it adds another human touch. Now, here's the thing. Won't let you post it yet because it's going to ask duration. Just non-restricted there, easy breezy. Do you want to email it out? You don't have any students to email out to yet. This is just a placeholder so that you don't forget to do it later. Now, course link. This would let you have the direct URL to something inside the course. Please don't use this. This works about 50% of the time. Don't bother doing it. All right, submit. Boom. Let's see how it looks from the student's perspective. For the best song ever. Boy, are you lucky you don't have to log into this course. So, what have we done? We've registered with Course Sites. We created a new class. Once we were in our class, we came into customization. We clicked teaching style to make sure we had buttons. If you want, you can mess with the background. Your call. Then we came up. We organized our menu bar a little better. We deleted content areas we weren't going to use. We added a few. Let's go back into edit mode. We added a few content areas. The little guy there, content areas, where we're going to add stuff into, okay? We renamed one, so we have one nice clean area to put rubrics and policies and information. We added a tool link to the announcement section. We then went back into teaching style and made sure that the announcements is the entry point for all our students. So one nice, clean, non-obnoxious, non-confusing entry point. We added an announcement. We added just basic, one little item that's just a placeholder inside each of our content areas so it actually shows up. You know what? I'm looking at this tool should not be that high. Let's move that down. There, I'll put it down there. We'll deal with tools later. That's where email functionality and all kinds of other stuff is. We'll be cleaning that out as well because that's very confusing. So, oh my goodness, there's one last very important thing we need to do. Let's go into the Start Here class info section. It's empty. Here is where we'll have our course syllabus or our outline, any important rubrics, any important information that's important for students for the whole of the course. Start Here class info. This is general information to be successful in the course. These are the individual content areas. But how can we design something so that it can be duplicated and used and taught by a fellow instructor? This is actually a huge, huge thing. We need to have what we call the hidden instructor folder. So, build content, we're adding in a content folder, okay? Not a file. A file is something else. It's really confusing. Content folder, watch. Click content folder. Let's literally name it Hidden Instructor Resources and explain on the folder what it is. Scroll down, guys, because this is what's important. Permit users to view this content. No. Users means students. Okay, and don't put any date or time on there. Nightmare. So permit users to view this content? No. You have to click no. The default is yes. You have to click no. Submit. Now watch. Haha. I'm in edit mode, so only the teacher sees this. Watch what happens when I go out of edit mode. This is what the students see right now. Nothing. But for future instructors who come in, hidden instructor resources. All right, I've got a week 1, I've got a week 2. They're showing up in, so I know I'm good there. There's my announcements. All right. Actually, make sure you have an announcement. How do you do that? And again, it's a placeholder. You'll be able to come in and edit it. Create announcement. With create an announcement, the one thing you really have to pay attention to is remembering that you deal with the options. You want to make sure you click not restricted, or it's going to put you in a cycle and it won't let you post and it'll drive you bananas. All right, so create an announcement so it's there, just something nice and general. Just can be hello. That's all you need. Here's the very last thing. Ready? You are going to invite your instructor to be a fellow instructor in this course. Under customization, no, we're not customizing anything. We're adding another user. Yeah, that's it. Then we're adding a user. Users. All right, there I am. But look, invite. Easy, easy, easy. Invite users. The person you're inviting, you're going to be inviting as a fellow instructor. Now, later in this course, you will be inviting a peer to come in and be a student in your course, at which point you'll be inviting that person to come in as a student. But not right now. Right now, you are inviting your instructor to be a fellow instructor. So you will need your instructor's email. Okay, please don't send this. It'll have your email, which again is part of the reason we're asking you use your Brandman email. It will come, quote unquote, from you, even though it's coming out of course sites. Whatever email you registered with, that's the one that's going to be sent out as. So please put in your instructor's Brandman email and say invitation to, use your name, blah, 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 demo unit in course sites, whatever. So the instructor knows what he or she is clicking on, and then everything is here. Everything is already in here. For those of us who already have accounts, we'll be able to log right in. Otherwise, if it's an instructor who has not already created their own course site, they'll be able to click and register. You'll click submit, boom, the invite goes out. How did we do that? One more time. Think about it. This is, I know I keep asking you, think about it, slow down, but being able to control this stuff really will serve you in multiple ways. So, you're adding a user. You're inviting someone to your class. How do you do it? You go down, it's course management, users and groups, users, invite a user. Yes, the default is student, but this person you're inviting is to be a fellow instructor. That's it, guys. All right? That's week 1. This list will be posted for you, and this video will be edited down because I've been way too verbose. If you have any questions, please, your first bet is to look through what's available, because there's so much available through course sites itself. and online and in Google. And then whatever information you find, please share with the rest of the class. There's so much here. That's it. See you soon. Bye.